On today's Neo Marketing Podcast, I'm going to explain this theory. Say no as much as possible so that you can say yes as much as possible.
Interesting.
Welcome to the Golden Group Neo Marketing Podcast, a bi-weekly discussion of modern business communication. Hey, good morning, Pritch. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm fired up for the topic today. It's something
lob some sweat grenades today?
It's been in my head a little bit. I've been trying to figure out how to explain it. Something I talk about on my personal podcast on the Saturday Morning Hustle. If you guys aren't checking out the Saturday Morning Hustle podcast, you should. It's awesome. Of course, I'm biased, but I briefly got into this, and now I'm going to sort of give you the business version of it. And like I said in the open teaser, say no as much as possible so you can say yes as much as possible. That sounds like a little bit of
counterintuitive.
Well, that's why I got to explain it. So, say no to the wrong opportunities, even if it's a good economic opportunity for you. So, case being, we do consulting. We work directly with clients. Not every client, actually most clients aren't the right fit for what we do, the services we provide, their expectations. There's a whole lot of factors that go into, should this business become our client? Should they hire us? Or should they hire someone else? Or should they not work with a consultant at all? Or all of those factors, right? So as in the process, and it's the same thing when you hire an employee or you do any sort of business relationship, both sides need to be interviewing each other to figure out if this is the right fit, the right relationship, right? So when you do that, you need to say no to the people that are 50% good, 70% good, 80%. It needs to be really high into all these things match up and the fit is correct. Right. And it's good for you and it's good for them. And it's good, creates a good relationship and a good working process, and you get good product out of it, and everything's better. Right.
Because if you say yes to a bad opportunity, it's just going to be strife and stress throughout the entire process.
You're not going to meet expectations. You're going to be struggling. You'll be frustrated with each other. You're not going to communicate. All that stuff means the end product won't be as good. It's just a waste of everyone's time, and it's not beneficial. So it's better, like when someone comes to us and they're not the right fit, we try to find someone who is. We move them on to something else.
Don't just say no, but
that says no. When you run a small business, it's scary to say no to economic opportunity. When someone goes, I got money, do you want to do a project? I think you might be good for it. It's really scary to go, nah. I got, I'm fine, because we need to make money. But we don't want to gum up our bandwidth and our attention and our sweat and toil. Our 100 hours a week we're putting in as entrepreneurs. This is right. Work 100 hours a week as an entrepreneur. You don't have to work 40 hours a week for someone else. But if you're doing it in the wrong places, you're not moving yourself forward. You're not developing your career and your brand and creating a great work product that develops the next client that comes to you for all the right reasons. You want to say no so that you can move into the scenarios that work best for you. My experience has been, the first time I said no to a project, it was really scary. The second time, it was less scary. Now it's very easy to say no to things that are not right. I've also had to fire clients. We're already working together. Things are going okay, but not great. There's scenarios that are just not working out. I'm like, hey, and I have to, it's not the old, it's not you, it's me. It's like, it's you and me. This isn't going to work anymore. I think we need to work separately. And I try to, like, here's someone you should work with, or give them references or things like that to make that as amicable as possible, right? So, but there are times you have to say no to that. That's even scarier to say, I'm not taking this money I'm already making and making less in the future because this isn't the right fit. But the first time I did it, it was super scary. But then every time I've said no to the wrong thing, or I've let a client go, or we've ended a relationship because it wasn't good for both parties, the better thing comes along. And I'm available to jump on that.
You have the bandwidth.
So you say no as much as possible so that you're only saying yes to the right exact projects and clients. You have right fit. It's beneficial. It's a win-win, beneficial both ways, okay? So that's one half of the equation. So the second half of the equation is say yes as much as possible. How does that count?
That's a dichotomy.
Okay, here it is. Because I'm not saying yes to clients and paid work. I'm saying yes to everything else.
Interesting.
Now, a lot of you right now are like, hold on, this sounds like pro bono. And there's a time and place for pro bono and RFP. We don't do RFPs. There's a lot of work, not a guarantee, all kinds of reasons for us to not do them. Plenty of people do. fine on them.
Yep.
I've done plenty of pro bono work in the past. I still do a little bit. My wife's very heavily involved in nonprofit, and so we get involved in a lot of pro bono work, and it's fine, and it's stuff that's usually it's easy stuff for me to do because it's not high level stuff that we do on the regular.
Right.
Makes me feel good. I'm happy about doing it. There's times for businesses to do pro bono. It's good for them to just feel good for the community, good give back. We talk about ethics and the human experience, right?
Yep.
There's also time to do pro bono because it creates an opportunity, creates a business relationship. Someone who didn't know you or didn't know how well you worked or how well you would work together now has that opportunity. And so it's a little bit of a risk and a little bit of a balance as to when you do pro bono. That's still not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Not talking about pro bono.
All right.
Not talking about RFPs.
We're taking a lot of things off the plate here.
I'm taking things off the plate. I'm talking about being in the community, being open and available to people, to having conversations. Traditional, can I pick your brain? Can we have a cup of coffee? I get hit up on LinkedIn a lot. I get hit up on social media. When I do speaking engagements, people want to come up afterwards and talk to me. TED Talks and things like that. When people you don't know or you're not already in a business relationship, people we meet at OVF, right? Oklahoma Venture Forum, all these things, I try to say yes to, can I pick your brain? Can we have coffee? Can I ask you a question? Can you stay late and discuss? I try to say yes to as much of that as possible.
So what you're talking about is saying yes to those relationship building opportunities.
Yes. Exactly right. Thank you so much for getting that. Relationship building, a little bit of giving back to the community, like providing that information. I'm not solving – I'm giving people pointers, and we're talking about 5 minutes to an hour. We're not talking about a week-long seminar, right? That's something you got to pay me for, right? But pushing people in the right direction and kind of usually they have an idea and I'm afraid the idea is not going to work and let me give them reason why, or they have these misconceptions. Well, I always wanted to do this, but I've been told X, Y, and Z. Well, X, Y, and Z is not true. You can go do that. You should be doing that. Trying to encourage them to pursue things or to take opportunities, misspell misconceptions, like getting those things out of the way. Sometimes a 5-minute conversation can really put someone in the right direction. Will they come back to me and be a client? I don't know. Probably not. The odds of what they need and gets them in a place that they think made enough money they can hire us to become, maybe, but that's not why I do it. Because the odds are they're not. And if you go into it with, I like to give people advice because I want them all to hire me, you're going to get disappointed because they're not all going to hire you.
That's exactly right.
It also goes in line. I say this all the time too. I've said this 100 times on the podcast, and I guarantee I've said it on social media. You get more no's than yeses. You get a lot more no's in the world, in business, in life, in opportunities, and everything you try to do, running a business, trying to make something yourself, self-brand, anything it is, more no's than yeses. It's just nature. It's not you. It's just nature. There's just less opportunities than you need in the world. But the yeses, that's why the yeses are so important. But you get more no's than yeses. So when someone is up against, I need to ask someone, whether it's someone I follow on social media that I really know, or someone I just saw speaking in the stage, or I heard a podcast, and now I need to ask their opinion. They really need some direction. I can give them 5 or 10 minutes.
And sometimes you're connecting them with others.
Yes,
That's
often.
part of their
very
relationship.
Often. Like, hey, you should talk to this person. You should go here. You should join OVF. You should do these things. It's little things. It's a little thing. There's no loss to me. There's no investment to me. Because, like I said, we're not spending hours and hours. We're spending 5 minutes to an hour together. But I can really move them in a great way from things I've learned and success I've had, because success and failures inform us, and I feel like I'm doing something good. They feel like it's a win-win. It's the ultimate win-win. If it results in a future business opportunity, fan-freaking-tastic. That's not the point. It goes back to, if you're just doing it to make money, it's not going to be authentic anyways. Not authentic. And if you're sitting around waiting for that guy to show back up who you had a cup of coffee with because you got to get paid, you ain't ever getting paid, you're going to go broke. So you have to say yes to that type of opportunity as much as possible. Say yes, say yes, say yes. Put yourself out there. Another thing, too, I find, like, we teach the one segment of the small business class for the Metro Tech, for career tech here in Oklahoma. And every semester we teach their marketing class, the one segment, a couple hours. It's no big deal. We can do it in our sleep. We've done that, especially we've done it 4 times now. So, like, we go through, we get the same presentation stuff. It's easy to do.
Done,
It's so easy to do, but it also refreshes me. It forces me to stand in front of an audience for 3 hours with no notes and explain marketing, advertising, public relations, I'm trying to think of all the aspects. Employee communication, internal, external. To be able to stand in front of them as an expert, speak on it, answer questions. You don't know what kind of, and the range is everything from I have an idea for a business to I'm running a business now and small business and everything else. Yeah. All types of different industries. To be able to answer questions, give examples, be very specific. It challenges me to look at my foundation of my philosophy and where the work that we do. You have to have the basics right before you can explain it. Was it Einstein that says if you can't explain it to a 9-year-old, you don't know what you're talking about? I think that was Einstein. Same thing. If you can't teach a class on it, you maybe not as smart as you think you are. So I say yes to that opportunity as much as possible. The feedback I get, again, directly one-on-one, it's like 20 small business owners in a room, so you get a lot of interaction. A lot of people want to stay after class, have those conversations. My 2.5-hour class becomes a 5-hour experience, getting there early, staying late. I'm perfectly happy with doing that a couple times a year because I get so much value out of it as well internally. There's not economic value. I don't get a job out of it. I've never had any one of those people hire me. Perfectly fine. That's not the point. I feel good about going back and reviewing my basics. I feel good about being able to stand up and deliver and answer questions. And if there's a question that someone literally stumps me with, I'm going to immediately leave that, go look it up and work it out in my own head what the answer is.
And then get back to that person.
As much as I possibly can. So all of these things are they're helping me as a professional, which helps me run my business, which helps me be better for my clients, which then helps them, their small businesses achieve. They could hire employees, pay them, pay taxes, and we're all doing community stuff together. Let's see how this is. This win-win-win-win-win-win. So when you say no, as much as possible to the wrong client, the wrong fit, the wrong scenario, the things you shouldn't have any business doing.
The time sinks.
That's right. And like a great example would be, my background is marketing and strategy. Yours is PR, but you also have your military background in structure and systems. There are things that we specialize in that we're really good at. We're like, man, we're awesome at this. There are things that are sort of fringe of that. That's like, well, that's sort of like this. Yes and no. If you have to say yes and no or sort of or not really what I do, but you'll pay me to do it, I'll do it anyway. So you've gone down the wrong path. It needs to be, these are the 5 or 6 things I really focus on. I'm really great at it. You put me up against anyone, I could compete. That's the kind of things you should hire me for. And anything else, I should be like, I should pass on that. Let me be like, even if I'm capable. Even like, with my graphic design background, and I got the wall of graphic design trophies over there, but I don't do it as much anymore because it's not where my focus is. And there are times it's like, can I hire you as a graphic designer? I just, no, you can't. I'm fully capable of doing it, but it's not the right fit for where I'm at with the business now. Say no as much as possible, saying, sorry, I'll reference you, I'll move you someone to someone else, I'll give you... It opens up your bandwidth and opens up your bandwidth to give more to the clients you have to run your business, because there's more than just managing client services, there's paying taxes and paying the rent and getting bills paid and things organized and structured and all the behind the scenes of a business. It allows you to do that in a great way. Keep up your accounting so that your tax season doesn't kick your ass because you got to do it all at once. Make sure your employees are paid. Make sure that your interns are taken care of. Make sure that your clients are happy, provided with what they need. All that good stuff happens when you have the right bandwidth in place for your business, because you said no to the projects and you're sort of happy to show up every day. You come in early, stay late, etc. If you feel valued by all your clients, you have great relationships. That's the no.
I'm gonna put a personal label on there. I'm gonna put a label on this.
I can't wait to hear this.
I'm gonna call it personal social responsibility.
I like that.
Corporate social responsibility is being a good member of the community for an organization, Well, for freelancers and folks that are small businesses,
small businesses like us, we don't have hundreds of employees. We're less than 10.
But it's the same concept. It's just on a more personal level.
It is more personal. The smaller you get, and then the more the business is focused on the people involved. Consulting is like, it's all about the people involved, When you manufacture widgets, it's the widget. Maybe the machine, maybe the delivery process, but it's less about the people. For what we do, it's the people. And our working relationships is the meat of what we do. And so they have to be good working relationships. But it's the same thing. If you have widgets and you have bad relationships with vendors or with the distribution channel or how your customer service team goes about providing customer service, you have to fix those things, streamline them, do what's necessary to create win-wins. If you say no to those bad scenarios, the non-fits, it allows you to attend professional conferences, to go when someone calls you up, can you have coffee with me? There are weeks I'm like, no, there's no way I'm having coffee with anyone. There are other weeks I'm like, yes, I have 3 days this week I could possibly go there before coming in the office, or have lunch, or have a beer after work. And now the tap room is open here, so dangerously enough, everything will be a beer. If you want to pick my brain, come have a beer. And
there you go.
Broke Brewing tap room here at Project 3810, which is a whole different story. But saying yes. My role as the chairman of OVF, and you're a member, and you're there doing the podcast interviews and stuff like that. But coming in early, staying late, answering questions, putting people in a room together, literally grabbing someone and go, you need to meet this person.
Talk to this person.
That's right. You need a banker. Here's a banker. You need an insurer. Whatever it is, saying yes to all of those with no expectation. This is the pure key. No expectation at all, other than you want to help create win-win scenarios for other people.
Yep.
And then you will be seen as someone who does those things.
Yep.
It goes back to the people like to do business with, people they know, like, and trust. You can be known, liked, and trusted if you say yes to things with zero expectations for yourself.
Absolutely. So there you go.
That's your professional ethic there. So back to where I started. If you say no as much as possible, you could say yes as much as possible. And it seems counterintuitive to say no to things that make you money and say yes to things that don't make you money.
Right.
But in the grand synergy of, if you will, the business karma of the world, the more I personally have found to say no to situations that aren't right, that aren't 90% right. No, I don't think I've ever found a 100% perfect scenario, but I definitely don't mess with things that are
50,
50, 60, right.
When
it's 5% compatible, I'm like, I don't even want to have a conversation with you, right?
Right.
The more you say no to those things that don't fit, your business sets itself up in the right way. You perform at a high level. It allows you the time and focus and clarity to say yes to the things that don't make you any money, but that business karma idea.
Right.
You get known as someone who can be trusted, who someone can go to it for advice. If that person who comes to your advice typically is not someone who hires you, but they know a lot of people. They're talking to a lot of people.
Right,
they're not asking you for advice. They're asking 50 people for advice. And then when they do, and they go out in the world and they go, well, who was most beneficial? If you're on that list, that top 5 list of people who helped them, it goes into this, the next referral, the next piece of business comes to you because of the business you're doing now.
Right. And it may not be business with them. They may talk to one of their colleagues.
It's typically them who's that. They said someone has said someone and something, and then people come back, and this is what I get. I get phone calls. Hey, you don't know me, but I know so-and-so. They referred you. Okay. Then I Googled you. I went to your website. I listened to your podcast. And then I saw on LinkedIn that there are 7 other people I know. I asked 4 of them. Those 4 gave you a high recommendation. And in that process, they told me the X, Y, and Z that you did. And now the conversation isn't, how much are you going to charge me?
Right.
It's how do we work together?
How do we work together?
And if the situation they're bringing is the one I want to say yes to, then we're off to the races. And so it's not a sales proposition. It's a relationship proposition.
Absolutely.
It's a business relationship proposition.
Absolutely.
Which is the most amazing place for any business to be, is not in a price sales, I pay you X, I get Y, because it's purely transactional, but in a relationship scenario. It's the best way to do business, the best way to do marketing. It's the most profitable, the most beneficial to everyone involved, and it creates the opportunities that brings in the next client, the next client, the next client, and each one of those clients will be a higher quality and a higher level at a higher responsibility. It works that way. 10 years ago, it'd be like, I don't know if it's going to work that way. 10 years of doing this, after 10 years of freelancing, after 10 years of doing a completely
corporate
different
stuff.
In the music business.
Right.
I did the music business thing, I did the corporate thing, I did the freelance thing, I've done the small agency thing, and it works out that way. The more you take care of people and you provide for them without expectation, the more the right scenarios show up for you, the more you say yes to the perfect, near perfect, great scenarios and no to the ones that are just for a paycheck.
Right.
Just trying to make that money. The more you say no to that and yes to the right ones, you create a scenario where you can do your best work, which will be the catalyst for your next client and your next level of work.
Yeah. Bam.
It all works together.
All works together.
It sounds a little sappy if I just said, hey, it's business karma. People would be like, come on, business karma. I just took, 10, 12, 14, 19 minutes here. Like, I'm trying to read on the mic how long it would take. 19 minutes to explain that it is business karma. But those are the concepts, the ideas, and how you put it into practice.
Yeah.
There you go.
I like it.
Folks, if you like that conversation, if you'd like to hear more conversations from us, hit the subscribe button, like us on social media. You want to Give us ideas for future shows, future topics. If you want to jump in on this topic, hit us up on social media. Let us know what you like, what you dislike, what you agree, disagree with. We will talk about it on a future episode of the New Marketing Podcast. Until then, good luck.
Ciao.